Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashraf al-anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Amma ba'du. Bayanu naw'in min anwa'i salat al-khawf. Clarifying a type from the types of the fear prayer, salat al-khawf. The prayer done in times of fear. That fear doesn't matter if it's from an enemy or if it's from wild animals, whatever that fear might be. That's a real fear, not an imagined fear, but a real fear. Then a person could do Salatul Khawf, and here he's going to explain a couple different methods. Al Hadith al Khamis wa Khamsun, Ba'd al Miya, عن عبد الله بن عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنهما قال, on the authority of Abdullah ibn Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with both Abdullah and Umar, he said, صلى بنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم صلاة الخوف. The Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم prayed with us the fear prayer في بعض أيامه, in one of his days, meaning one day in his lifetime. فقامت طائفة معه. So a group, طائفة, a group stood with him. وطائفة, and a group, بإزاء العدو. Iza comes from alaf zay, alaf maksura, and it means to face or to turn towards something. Bi iza al adu. And so the other group was facing the enemy, al adu. فَصَلَّ بِالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ رَكْعَةً, so he prayed with them a rak'ah. ثُمَّ ذَهَبُوا, so then they went. وَجَاءَ الْآخَرُونَ, and another group went, and another group came. فَصَلَّ بِهِمْ رَكْعَةً, and he prayed with them a rak'ah. وَقَدَتِ الطَّائِفَتَانِ رَكْعَةً, and the two groups each made up their rak'ah. So the first group made up their rak'ah, and the second group made up. Now, I had previously recorded this, and there was a problem with the recording, so alhamdulillah, that's a good thing. Because when looking at and preparing the next hadith, we find min fawaid wa ahkam al-hadith, from the virtues and benefits and rulings of the hadith, that this paragraph number 1 is almost exactly the same as in the next hadith, and he explains them both to be the same exact way. We're going to read it here, even though I think that this is some type of typo, a cut and paste type of error, and Allah knows best. I'm going to read what he says here, and then I'm going to say what Sheikh Abdul Rahman al-Barak says, because this paragraph here mentioned in this hadith actually seems to be more in line with what is mentioned in the hadith of Hadith 156. Let's read it, and then I'll reiterate that, inshallah. Awalan, from the first of the benefits, rulings, and of the hadith, mashru'iyatu salat al-khawfi, the legislation of salat al-khawf inda wujudi sababiha, when the reason for it exists. Wasifatuha, and its description, because ha is for salat. إذا لم يكن العدو, if the adu is not jihat al-qibla, if the enemy is not in the direction of the qibla, then its description is أن يقسم القائد الجيش, that the qa'id, here he's the fa'il, marfu', he divides the jaysh, maf'ulun bihi, mansub, ila ta'ifatayn, he divides the army into two groups. Ta'ifatun, a group, tusalli ma'ahu, one group prays with him, wa ukhra tahrus, and the other group guards. فَإِذَا قَامَ لِرَكْعَةِ الثَّانِيَةِ, so when he stands up for the second rak'ah, the imam, ثَبَتَ قائما. Then he stays or remains standing. وانفردوا فأتموا لأنفسهم. And so they go and they pray for themselves. ثم انصرفوا. And then they go away. فقاموا في وجه العدو. وانفردوا, meaning they individually pray. فأتموا لأنفسهم. So they pray, they finish the prayer by themselves. They complete the prayer by themselves. ثم انصرفوا. So then they go away. فقاموا في وجه العدو. And then they go and they stand and face the enemy. They stand in the face of the enemy. ثم تأتي الطائفة. Then the group التي تحرس, which is guarding, comes. تأتي فتصلي معه ركعة. So they pray with him the ركعة التي بقيت من صلاته. So they pray with him the rakat that is remaining with the imam, the rakat that is remaining from his salat, because the salatul khawf is shortened. فَإِذَا جَلَسَ لِلتَّشَهُدِ. So when he sits for the tashahhud, قَامُوا فَصَلُّوا رَكَةَ الَّتِي بَقِيَتْ مِنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ. Then they stand up and they pray the rakat that is left from their salat. ثُمَّ سَلَّمَ بِهِمْ. And then he makes the taslim with this second group. طيب. Let's go through this in English, and then you can go back on your own in the Arabic if you want to read it and understand it better. Step 1, we have the imam and group 1. That doesn't work. I don't know how to draw it out. I'm trying to figure out how to draw it. You can't. Okay, so the first rakat, the imam and group 1. Then in the second rakat, the group 1 prays their second on their own. In the second rakat for the imam, group 2, while he's in a sitting position, he remains there for a while, allowing them to stand up and make their second rakat, right? And then when they sit down for the tashahhud, they all make the taslim together. This is what he says. This is mentioned here. However, in the hadith above, it says, فَقَامَتْ طَائِفَةٌ مَعَهُ. So a group prays with him. وَطَائِفَةٌ بِإِزَاءِ الْعَدُوِّ. And another group facing the enemy. فَصَلَّ بِالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ رَكَةً. So he prays with those who are with him one rakat. ثُمَّ ذَهَبُوا. And then they go. He doesn't say that they make the rakat up on their own inside while he's standing up for the second. He says, no, after that rakat, they go. Meaning they finish their salat and go. وَجَاءَ الْآخَرُونَ. And the other group comes. فَصَلَّ بِهِمْ رَكَةً. And they pray with him a rakat. وَقَدَتَ الطَّائِفَتَانِ رَكَةً. And the two groups make up a rakat. Meaning at whatever time. This is what Sheikh Abdurrahman al-Barak says, that they make up this rakat that they missed. Basically, each inside the hadith, Sheikh Abdurrahman al-Barak, he says each group makes one rakat with the imam, and then they make up the rakat that they missed on their own at a later time. Doesn't say when, however they see fit to do. Here, he makes it as if it's a group, but actually Allah knows best. This is for our next hadith, and Allah knows best. ثانيا, the second thing we get from this hadith, and it is found in this hadith, وجوب اتخاذ الحذر, the obligation of taking caution or precaution من الأعداء, from the enemies, بكل وسيلة, with every means necessary, by any means necessary. ثالثا, وجوب محافظة على الصلاة, the obligation of maintaining and guarding the prayer. keeping the prayer, always praying fi waqtiha, fi waqtiha. So even when there's an enemy and you're fighting, to pray in its proper time, ala ayyi halin kanat, upon any condition or situation that you're in. Even if that means you got to pray different than normal prayer, you got to all pray separate, you got to pray, and there's many different descriptions of the Salatul Khawf. This is just one of them. رابعا أن صلاة الجماعة تدرك بركعة, that the congregational prayer is reached or caught by catching one rak'ah. هذا والله تعالى أعلم وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.